Hello everyone. So today we are going to come to the English topic and we will be learning about the English poem that is television. So this poem is written by Roald Dahl. So before we start actually explaining the poem, you should always read this box. This box many a times has your questions answers in it. So now let us read this box. So the first paragraph, the first paragraph is the introduction to the poet. Okay, so what was the poet, how was what he used to do, so all that is written. Let's read that. Roald Dahl is one of the most prolific of modern writers in English. He was a British novelist, short story writer, poet, screenwriter, fighter pilot, and has a large fan following among the young readers. So this is the introduction of the poem. Now let us just have an introduction to the poem. So in this poem, what actually the poet does is that he takes a comic look at a serious problem among the young children of today. This actually poem was written in that time, in Roald Dahl's time, and this is actually the problem of children today also. The poem warns us about the dangers of excessive television watching. He tells us that TV robs the mind of the power of imagination and creativity. We will be learning about this in the poem also. But here, when you're writing answers, this box actually gives you the points. Okay, you can write this if they ask you what are the harmful use of televisions. So, like that, you can write. Dahl is characteristic Dahl, in his characteristic exaggerated style, warns us that we will become zombies if we keep staring uninterrupted at the television for long hours. He advises us to read books. For this will enable us to discover deeper levels of joy, find fulfillment in our life, and open a whole new and exciting world for us. So, after reading this box, that is introduction. Now let us start with the actual poem, that is television. So here I'll be reading a little part of it and then I'll explain. This poem actually doesn't have paragraphs in it. So I'll read a part of it, then I'll explain. So the most important thing we have ever learned so far as children are concerned is never let them near your television set, or better still, just don't install install the idiotic thing at all. So here he tells कि you know you will go at many places, you observe something. Okay, the same way this child has gone to many places, he has seen, observed so many things. So from that, he has learned very important thing about the children, which is concerned to the children. He says that you should never ever you should let children sit at the television. Okay, better if you have not yet taken a television, no, better you don't at all install it only. That's what he says, that idiotic thing, because this thing has so much of idiotic junk. Okay, and all these things what the TV has is showing us, what are all the idiotic things which are there, and it is harming the children. So he is telling like that. So now let's go to the next thing. In almost every house we have watched them gaping at the screen. They loll and slop and lounge about and share until their eyes pop out. Last week, in someone's place, we saw a dozen of eyeballs on the floor. Yeah. So, in almost every house he has gone, that poet has gone, he has seen the children are watching the television uninterruptedly for so long time, just with little distance. They are gapping, they are staring at them for long times at the repulsive television screen. They just loll and slop and lounge about. They are just sitting and sleeping and lounging and they are just seeing all that television. Okay, so they are staring so much that they don't actually care of their eyes. They are feeling okay, it is entertaining us, so let us see that. But they don't also think about what is actually happening to them, although they know all these seriousness. But that's what he's saying. So until the eyes pop out means until the eyes, they stare at so, here he is taking a comical way they are staring so much that until their eyes pop out, actually they look like this ekdam staring they are at the television. It can harm the eyes actually. So last week in someone's place we saw a dozen of eyeballs on the floor. This is exaggeration, the hyperbole, the figure of speech, what we call it as the exaggeration. A dozen of eyeballs falling on the floor he had seen, so that's like exaggeration. They sit and stare and sit until they are hypnotized by it, until they are absolutely drunk with all the shocking, ghastly junk. So he says the children are only sitting and staring at the television. They don't do anything. They are just idle and they are just looking at the television. They don't also think what is happening, and they are so much staring at the television and so much they are affected by that mentally, so they are like just hypnotized by it. They are so much addicted to that television. So he's saying until they are absolutely drunk. When if you see some alcoholic, he has no brain on his head or on his brain. It has scientific reasons, like the oxygen supply does not reach there, or the cerebellum does not the medulla oblongata does not work neatly. So we learn that afterwards in the nervous system chapter of bio. But just now, like that, the scientific reasons are there that when a person drinks alcohol or has alcoholic products, he has no control on himself. So that's what he's saying. If you are just watching all that ghastly junk, idiotic thing, which that will affect your mind so much that you will not be in your control also. That's what he's saying. Oh, yes, we know it keeps them still. They don't climb out the windowsill. They never fight or kick or punch. They leave you free to cook the lunch. Then they leave you free to cook the lunch and wash the dishes in the sink. But did you ever stop to think, to wonder just exactly what this does to your beloved thought? So he says, ki, yeah, no, this was in a flow, so I just took it a long part. I took. He says, ki, yeah, it keeps your children still. If you know, uh, children, if they just if they are kept in the front of television, they watch the television, and so they are idle. If they are idle, they will not trouble the parents to do anything. So what, the parents are free to do their work, like the cooking lunch or washing the dishes in the sink and all the sort of things that they do. Children will not trouble them by just going out of the windowsill. They will not do all these mischiefs. They will just watch at the television. So they will not fight, they will kick, not they will kick, not they will punch, and nothing they will do. They will just idly sit at the television, in the front of the television, and watch the television. So he says, yeah, he will do all this only. They don't need only anything. Means they will not trouble now. So therefore, he says, you, the parents, now this Roald Dahl is telling to the parents, yeah, they are still, so you are keeping them in the front of the television. But do you actually know what harm that television is taking to your child? Taught is actually the child. So you really, do you know what harm it is giving to your child? So now in the bold letters he has told, in capital letters he has told about what happens to the children. This is very important part of it. It rots the sense in the head, it kills the imagination dead. It clogs and clutters up the mind. It makes a child so dull and blind. He can no longer understand a fantasy, a fairy tale. His brain becomes as soft as cheese. His powers of thinking rest and freeze. He cannot think, he only sees. So, what he's saying is, it rots the sense in the head. You know, if you watch the television, it has mental effect on you, okay, on the brain also. Means you don't think only anything, you just watch the television. You are not letting your this thing, your brain to think anything. Okay, so the brain does not work at all much. The brain does not work much. So that's what he is saying. It rots his sense in your head. Whatever sense you have in your head, whatever good things you have, if you are watching television, you just forget all that. You must have seen in the exam times. In the exams, if you are actually uh, studying and you watch the television for little time also, if you watch television, you tend to forget things. This is what he said. That's what you must have seen. It keeps the imagination dead. You don't have the imagination at all now. When you read books now, you try to imagine things. Ki, array, this is written in the books. This must have happened. That must have happened. Like that, you imagine. Ki, like that, all these things you do. And you see, ki, yeah, in the book it is written. No, ki, It was a nice place, all greenery everywhere. A river was flowing beside, like that. And you imagine that, thinking, yeah, it was actually nice. A greenery is there, and a river is flowing by, like that. You think, but if you're watching the television, you're just watching, yeah, river is flowing, trees are there, and everything. No, it kills the imagination dead. There's no imagination at all of children. What they are watching, they are just copying or doing like that. What you know. So there is nothing like such, clogs and clutters of the mind. It makes child so dull and blind. Dull, in the sense physically also, mentally also, academically also. As we know, you tend to forget things after watching the television. Yeah, it actually distracts your concentration, due to which you are not able to think. Then mentally, can't think at all. You can't think much of things, like, as I told you, how the imagination is killed by the television. And dull physically also. How physically? They are just sitting idle in front of the TV and they are watching. Nothing exercise, no physical entertainment. Like, they are not playing outside, they are just watching at television, due to which this happens. They are becoming dull. He can no longer and blind. It affects the eyes, due to which it may become blind sometime. He can no longer understand a fantasy, a fairy tale. In a fantasy or in a fairy tale book, you see now, wow, this was the fairy land. In it is written like that. All the cherry blossoms were there. The sky was pink. There were unicorns. Unicorns are the horses having beautiful wings, and they have horns in their heads, like that. When you listen and or you read, no, you tend to imagine all those things, and you get it all in front of your eyes. Imaginate all these things, and while you are imagining all these things, no, you can make a new story yourself. But now you can't no longer understand this imagination, this fairy tale, fairyland, or the fantasy, because you are just watching everything in front of the television. In the television, his brain becomes as soft as cheese. Soft means you can put anything in that. So it is not actually working very neatly. That's what it is telling. His powers of thinking rust and freeze. If you have seen iron many times, if you just keep it like that, oxidization takes place. That is chemistry part of it. But if you keep it like that only, don't do anything to it, it will rust. It will become reddish brown. And many times, if you just keep the water in the fridge, it will freeze up. And many times, when you bring some products for working and you keep them like that only, they don't work. This is the same thing. You are not letting your brain think anything, okay, due to which the brain is now not working very well. That's what it is telling. He cannot think, he only sees. Why he cannot think? Because he is just seeing at the television, so he does not want to think only anything, because he is ready-madely seeing everything on the television. That's what he's telling. He's telling us all the ill effects of the TV. Now, what he'll say? All right, you will cry. All right, you will say. But if we take this TV, this set away, what shall we do to entertain our darling children? Please explain. We will answer this by asking you, what used the darling ones to do? How how used they keep themselves contented before this monster was invented? Have you forgotten? Don't you know? We will say it loud and slow. So I'll just explain this part, then go to the next part. You will try, all right, you will cry, all right, you will say, okay, now we will remove the television set if you are sick. But if we remove the television set, how are we going to entertain the children? If the children are not going to get any entertainment, they will become bored, they will trouble us only. So this is something that their parents are asking. This the Roald Dahl poet is telling us. The poet is okay. I know you will say all this and you will ask such thing. I have also here Roald Dahl is not only setting the problem in front of us, but also the solution. He's telling us. He says that the question you are asking us, how should we entertain the children? We will answer you by asking you one question. How were the children in past used to entertain themselves when this television? Now television has harmful effects on us, so and it is just as harmful as a monster, so they are comparing it. This is a simile, you can this is a metaphor, you can say. Then that is what he is saying. He, how the children used to keep them contented that time, how they used to entertain themselves at that times when this television was not at all invented. Here he has the answer. He says, have you forgotten how they used to keep themselves entertained? Have you forgotten or you don't know? I'll say, now he says, okay, we'll tell it loud and slow, clearly. Now he's telling us, how can you entertain yourselves without television? They used to read. They used to read. They read and read read and read, and then proceed to read some more. Great Scott, Gadzooks. Half their lives was reading books. The nursery shelves held books galore. Books cluttered up the nursery floor. So here he's saying when the television was not actually invented, the children only used to read the books and kept themselves what to say kept themselves entertained. They just used to read these books, like the very nice books like the Great Scott Gadzooks. Half of their lives means they have, for their entertainment, they have read so many things. If you just check the older people, they have read many things, so their language is quite good than our language. We many a times just mix up two languages, more languages maybe. So that's what he's saying. The time the children used to read books, half of their lives was just in reading books. The nursery shelves would be completely filled with books, held books galore. Books cluttered up in the nursery floor. Everywhere only books were there which they used to read. Of course, one person cannot read one book at a time, no? So they used to read a lot of books, due to which they kept themselves entertained. So now he's telling all that. Now he's seeing what the kind of books were there. And in the bedroom, by the bed, more books are waiting to be read. Such wondrous, fine, fantastic tales of dragons, gypsies, queens, and whales, and treasure isles, and distant shores where smugglers rode their muffled oars, and pirates wearing purple pants, and sailing ships and elephants, and cannibals crouching around the pot stirring away something hot. It smells so good. What can it be? Good gracious, that's Penelope. So let's understand this thing. This is everywhere only books used to be there, and in the bedroom also, beside the bed, by the bed there used to be many books. Means after I complete this book, I'll go to that. So in that way, near the bed also books used to be there. uh, they say that books were also so nice during those times, like they were so wondrous, and they were so fine, and they had the tales, the stories in them were also like so fantastic, of the dragons, the gypsies, the queens, and the whales and treasure islands, where the seashores are. This is a treasure story. This is the treasure islands where there are the dogs also, man. These treasure islands, and then the pirates, in the purple pants, those pirates are there, and they are just coming and they are smuggling up the sorry, they are that's what we can say, they're capturing the ship and all that. These things you must have cartoons, you must have seen, no, sometimes. So this is something like, yeah, you can see, no, this can make you if you read these things, no, it makes your imagination good. Like actually now also, when I'm saying, you see how this used to that would, you must be imagining oh wow, the pirates were in purple pants, then lice islands will be there, golds will be there, they are capturing the ship, like that you must be imagining. Yeah, now also. So this is what happens when you read or listen, but this does not happen when you see. When you are seeing everything, no, you get everything ready made. That's what he's saying. He, yeah, cannibals crouching around the pot, stirring away something hot. Something they are stirring, like that you will see. That's whatever they are stirring, it smells good. So what is that? What book can be this? This book, yeah, it's Penelope. What do you say? Now here the poem is now the further he's going to list up all the books that they used to read, like the younger ones had Beatrix Potter with Mr. Todd and Dirty Daughter, and Squirrel Nutkin, Pigling Bland, and the Mrs. Twiggy Winkle, and just how the camel got his hump, and how the monkey lost his rump, and Mr. Toad and Bless My Soul. There's Mr. Rat and Mr. Mole. Yeah, so these are the names of the books that were there in those times. Oh, books they used to know, those children living long ago. So please, oh please, we beg, we pray, go throw your TV set away, and in its place install you can, sorry, and in its place you can install a lovely bookshelf on the wall. So he's saying, yeah, my God, so wonderful books there were at those times, and how these children in the living in the past, whoever children must be there in the past, they would be so lucky to have all these books. They would be so happy to read all these books. They are so lucky, like that he's saying here. So please, now he's telling the parents, so please, we beg at you, instead of just having this television set which is creating nonsense and it's harming your children, you better install a bookshelf on the wall. That's what he's saying. So now he says कि after installing, parents will say कि अरे see, after installing this is happening. If we throw the TV set away, are these children going to let us live peacefully? No, of course. So that's what he's saying. कि the immediate reaction of them. He says कि okay, yeah. So he's saying a lovely bookshelf on the wall. Then fill the shelves with a lot of books, ignoring all the dirty looks, the screams and yells, the bites and kicks, the children hitting you with sticks. Fear not, because we promise you that. Okay, I'll just read till here. It's in flow afterwards. So he's saying कि you install a nice bookshelf and let them read books. So he says कि of course it's not going to happen so fast. It will take time for them to adjust themselves with the books. After just they will give you dirty looks, like what you are taking the television and all those type of dirty looks they will give you. Then they just ignore all these dirty looks, okay, and just they will scream and they will yell कि no, you dare you take this TV, you no, do not take this TV, like that. They will scream at you, they will bite you, kick you, what harms they will do to you, like they will hit you with screams and all that. They are saying कि okay, all this will happen. Okay, this is the immediate reaction, which is quite a natural. If you have given the television set for a long time, we are letting them see, this will happen only. So okay, fear not, but we promise you that this will not be forever. Some time will come when this will change. And now let's read it. That in about a week or two of having nothing else to do, they will now begin to feel the need of having something to read. So see, after a week or two, the television will be not there. No source of income, no source, sorry, not income. This in these COVID times, so many things in the news we are hearing. No, the people have no source of incomes and all that. So it came by mistake. No source of entertainment they have. So if they have no source of entertainment, television is not there, but they have books. Television is not there. What they will do? They will read books. What else can they do? No, to keep themselves entertained, something or else they have to do. So they read books. Now they will have a need. They will feel that, oh, we have to read books. We have no choice. Then they will start to read. And once they start, oh boy, you watch slowly hug the growing joy that fills their hearts. They will grow so keen, they will wonder what they had ever seen in that ridiculous machine, that nauseating, foul, unclean, repulsive television screen. And later, each and every kid will love you more for what you did. So, here he says, ki now the children will have the need to read the books, so they will start reading books. And once they start reading books, you just see what happens. They will slowly feel like, wow, they will themselves, they will feel a change in them. They will feel nice when they read these books. They will have the joy which was there while seeing the television. They will feel more joy when they read books. That's what he's saying. It fills their hearts. That means their hearts will fill with happiness, a lot of happiness. That's he's saying. They will grow so keen they will be so happy to see these televisions. They will wonder that what had they ever done. Means they will wonder ki, Arey, what I had done. I was watching these television. It was just ridiculous. It was nauseating, foul, unclean, repulsive television screen. I was watching for so many hours and hours when I had so nice, wonderful books. That's what he says. And later, each and every kid will love you more for what you did. So he says, he, you have taken away that bad thing, and you have given a better uh, and a better thing for entertainment you have given to them. So for that, they will love you more. That's what he is saying. So this poem ends and at an advice note of advice that better you take out the television screen. Children will only love you more. That's what they say. And at the note of the Dashera also, we end this video over here. So at last, happy Dashera. Thank you. I hope you must have understand this poem, television.